I work with Digital Opportunity Trust Kenya, abbreviated as DOT Kenya, but most of us like to call ourselves DOT Kenya. And we work with youth. That is, we support young people to become leaders, innovators, and to create digital solutions that have positive impact in their communities. Today happens to be International Girls in ICT Day, and as an organization, we are very proud to be counted among those who are committed towards bridging the digital divide by working with youth, especially women. We equip them with digitals. Yes, we have different programs under our Daring to Achieve project. That is Digital Jobs Level 1, Digital Jobs Level 2, and the Digital Business Program. Briefly about these programs, under the Digital Jobs Level 1, here we target young people, majorly, of course, youth between the ages of 18 to 35 who have little or no knowledge of ICT, and we equip them with basic ICT skills, 21st century skills, work readiness skills, and more. Under the Digital Jobs Level 2 program, we equip young people with skills in data analysis using Excel, web development using WordPress, and social media marketing. And under the Digital Business Plus ICT program, we target mainly young people with businesses. And through our program, they get to learn, or rather gain skills that help them grow their businesses. We work with community leaders, and shout out to you if you are in the room. They are our facilitators on the ground. So for Digital Jobs Level 2, this is majorly, or this is majorly done online. So you get to access these classes virtually. Same for digital business, which is offered virtually and also on-site. And for Digital Jobs Level 1, this is entirely on-site. So we work with local partners in Central Kenya, Western Nyanza, Rift Valley, and the coastal region. Funded by Global Affairs Canada, and this means you get to access them for free. So if you ever see a poster that says join Kenya's program, pay this amount, then that is not us. Yes, and we are also partnering with GIZ on a gig economy mentorship program, which is targeting women. And through this program, we are bringing together gig experts and gig workers, where they get to share their learning experiences and develop strategies for success. So one of the ways we've been doing this is through virtual masterclasses, which is where we are here today. And we are so delighted to have Stella Mwangi join us. And briefly about her is, Stella is a freelance B2B tech and SaaS writer. She has over 12 years experience as a content marketing specialist and digital marketing copywriter. Stella has been in the gig economy since 2014 when she went into full-time freelancing. She has worked with various clients based in a wide range of industries, including software development, project management, remote work, online business, travel, finance, and more. So welcome, Stella. Thank you for joining us today. Let's get started. But before we do that, please introduce yourself to the audience. I know we've given a brief introduction of yourself, but it's also great that you give a customized introduction. The floor is yours, Stella.
Thank you, Doreen, for your introduction. Please let me know if my audio is loud and clear.
Very clear.
All right. So as Doreen has said, my name is Stella Mwangi. I am a freelance writer. I have been doing writing for over 14 years, actually, since I left campus. It's what I studied in. I really, really wanted to be a writer. So I went to campus and I did communication and media, worked briefly as a journalist. And then when Facebook, or rather social media, was just starting to boom, it caught my eye because, like, I've seen someone say they are a loner. That happens to be my personality as well. So you can imagine being an an introvert and a loner working in the media industry. It's a very weird combination. It's very, very difficult. But then I came to learn about social media, and I somehow felt at home. So I was very keen on finding out what is this all about. And that's how I quit journalism and I went into online communication. And that's how I ended up being a freelance writer. So anyway, I didn't go into freelance out of the need for the money. Back then I didn't know what a side hustle is. I was just craving for freedom. Yeah, I really wanted to quit the corporate world, because after I left journalism, I went and joined the corporate world as a marketer for a while, and it still didn't feel like what I wanted. I wanted a bit of freedom. I wanted to be in control of my time. I wanted to be able to choose when and whom I work with. And it so happened that one of the employers that I had at the time was a pure online marketing outfit. So everything that I did was online, and it piqued my curiosity. And if I can do this as a full-time employee, then it means I can do it by myself. And that's how I ended up creating a profile on Upwork. This was in 2013, but I really didn't get to use that profile until 2014, when I finally found myself, suddenly I didn't have a job. And I figured, this freelance thing that I've been thinking about, how about I go full-time now, because it looks like I have a chance. And that is how I ended up being a freelancer. And since I had started writing, I figured, how about I continue with online writing. And as I say, the rest is history. So I've been doing it since 2014 until now. I would say I am an expert at Upwork, because 90% of my clients, I have been able to find them on Upwork. And so when Eric reached out to me to do this training, I gladly accepted, because I feel I have had many people come to me with questions about using Upwork, and it gets very disappointing to hear that someone, yes, they have, because one of the hardest things now is to actually have a profile accepted. Having your profile on Upwork, most people have their profiles either rejected or suspended. So it's very disappointing to hear that someone has been able to successfully create a profile, but they have given up because they're not able to find jobs. So I'm hoping that today's session will be able to address some of the issues that most people face and how they can be able to navigate those issues. So Doreen, if you allow me, I would like to go straight to my presentation now.
Please go ahead.
All right, let me share my screen.
And maybe as she shares her screen, please, if you have questions, do not worry. We're going to have a Q&A session towards the end, where Stella will be taking questions. So you can start by typing them in the chat, and then we'll take note of that.
So today we'll be looking at the success factors for an online writer. And to begin with, let's see what online writing is, because I've had people say, I want to work online. And then there's this misconception that when you talk about working online, the only available online jobs are either writing, virtual assistant, transcription, and the last one is data entry. But my question always is, why is someone looking at online writing? Are you even aware what online writing is? So first of all, let's see what online writing is briefly. So online writing is any writing that you create digitally and submit electronically for publication. And the mode of publication is a digital device that could be the content that you read is digested digitally as well. That means it's accessed on a laptop, on a phone, on a tablet, or any other device. As an online writer, you can create blogs, blog post articles for digital publication, social media content, and a lot more. There are very many types of writing, and from experience, I know most people know of only two types of writing, that is academic writing and article writing, but there are very many types of writing. And a few of the most common ones are content writing. This is when you write about a company and its products or services in order to promote it and generate awareness and sales. When Doreen introduced me, she said that I'm a content writer. So for me, this is the niche that I found worked most for me. And as she said, I'm a technical writer working with B2B companies and SaaS companies. SaaS companies are companies that have a software, that offer a software as a service. An example is Zoom. And for those kind of companies, I write content that is meant to make their products or their services known and to convince their audience to buy these products or services. Another example of online writing is article writing, or the very famous phrase that is used, that is blogging. This is where you write about your interest or a topic you love to make people know about it. This can be done at a personal level, or you can also be hired to write the blogs for someone else or even for a company. There's a big difference between a blog and there's a big difference between blogging and content writing. When it comes to blogging, you are just educating, informing, and entertaining your audience. But as I mentioned about content writing, your goal here is just to create awareness about a product or a service and to convince people to buy. So the goal, the most important thing to understand about the different types of writing is the goal of that type of writing and who the audience you're trying to attract with your content, because they'll always be different. Another type is a technical writing. Technical writing involves studying, reading, researching, and documenting complex technical implications in layman's language. Think about when you buy an electronic device. For instance, you buy a TV. A TV comes with a user manual. Now that user manual, when it comes to something like a TV, it's very complicated. If you are not the manufacturer, or if you're not the person who is in charge of developing that TV, you probably wouldn't understand the terms that they use, the technical terms, or even the things like wiring that is going on inside that device. But there is a user manual that you can read and understand and be able to operate that TV without, and this manual has no jargon. It's written in very in very simple language that anyone, whether they have experience in engineering or not, they are able to understand it. So that's what technical writing is. So you take this very complicated thing and turn it into very, very simple text that anyone can understand. Examples of technical writing include white papers, how-to articles, ebooks, reports, explanations, and user manuals, as I had explained. Another common type of online writing is ghostwriting. Now, when it comes to ghostwriting, this is where you write on someone's behalf. And this work, after you submit it, it will not be credited to you, but will be credited to either the person who hired you to do that job or someone else in the company. For instance, when companies want to publish blogs on their website, they probably don't have in-house writers, so they hire freelance writers to do the job for them. Now, when this blog is published, it won't come with your name, because in most cases, the companies are using these blogs to create something that is called, to generate authority. So you'll find the blog is credited to someone like the CEO or someone who, like the financial director, someone high in. So in that case, this work does not belong to you. It belongs to that company and will be credited to whoever they choose. Now, this is the most common when you choose to be an online writer and you want to work with companies. This is one of the things that this is one of the jobs that you will easily find. But there's a downside to it. Now, as a writer, you're trying to build your portfolio. And so the more work you do, the bigger and more authoritative your portfolio will be. But now, as a ghostwriter, like I said, this work won't be credited to you. So it won't come with your name. And since it belongs to someone else, you cannot add it in your portfolio. However, it is one of the best ways to gain experience, especially if you're starting out. And you can, with time, you can actually find companies that if you request them to add you as the owner of the publication, they actually accept. And some of the things that you can do as a ghostwriter is to help people who are writing books, people who are writing lyrics for songs, who are doing their ebooks, e-guides, blogs, email content, newsletters, and even resumes. Feature writing is another type of online writing. This is creative writing that covers various topics, including lifestyle, food, travel, politics, culture, tech, and much more. This could also be an example of blogging. So if you're a blogger and you're writing about something, a lifestyle, an example of a lifestyle topic could be wellness, fitness, cooking, such things. This also could, like I mentioned, blogging can be done at a personal level or could be done for someone else. Examples of feature writing could be like writing columns on publications. So we have online magazines, online newspapers. So you could write a feature on a column. You could be given a column where you write your content. Features, there are types of, there's something we call human interest features. These are stories about social topics. And then we have blogs, like I mentioned, short stories, poems, and more. Another type is report and case study writing. Corporations and big businesses often hire writers to write in-depth reports and case studies. The goal for this type of writing is to drive profit, so writers must craft their content accordingly. A case study. Now, let's talk about an example like Zoom. So Zoom, when Corona hit, the Zoom saw a huge influx of customers because it was everyone. We were all having virtual meetings, and it was offering that service. Now, Zoom would want to write a case study about how Corona affected their business. So you have to do, you write what the problem was at that time and how Zoom came in and solved that problem. That is what we call a case study. A report is just general information about a topic. Maybe they're just trying to look at how their first quarter has been in business, so they do a report. This, again, could be hired to a freelancer instead of doing it in-house. Another popular type of writing is SEO writing. Now, SEO means search engine optimization. This aims at helping websites reach the highest ranking position in the Google search results. Now, when we talk about Google search results, it's when I give an example of you happen to be in a new town that you haven't been in before, you have never visited before, and you want to go have a meal. And then, so you don't know anyone there, you don't know where any restaurants will be. So the first thing you do is pull out your phone, go to Google, and probably type in restaurants near me. Or if, let's say you're in Eldoret. So you're gonna write restaurants in Eldoret. Now, when the Google search engine will recognize the words that you've used, and they're going to narrow down the search results to anyone, any business, or rather any restaurants in Eldoret that somewhere in their online content, they've used the keyword restaurant in Eldoret. And it's so you're going to see the results on the first page. The goal for any business that is online or is to be found on that first page of Google. So for this to happen, there are certain SEO practices that have to be done for that to happen. So companies hire SEO experts to do that for them. Example content where SEO writing occurs is in blogs, website content, description writing. This is where you're probably describing a product or a service. Business writing is another example where you write write-ups related to the business. Examples of business content include official emails, memos, sales proposals, white papers, speeches, and RFPs. Now, this is also a very technical kind of writing and probably takes experience it takes a skill, what we call business. You need to have the business writing skills and you understand how businesses operate to be able to do this kind of writing. Then we have press release writing. This is when a company wants to announce something that has happened in their company. This could probably be something like a merger. They've opened up new departments. They've introduced new products. Their business is expanding, etc. Now, to announce this information, they will write a press release. They will need to send out a press release. In most cases, press releases are used by news outlets. And this is it's a very official type of writing. And the tone of this kind of writing is very formal and needs to be very concise. So it's a small piece of information that is just announcing whatever that the business wants the world to know is happening in their business. Now, another very popular and often misunderstood type of writing is copywriting. There's a very big difference between copywriting and content writing. Copywriting has one sole purpose, that is to sell products or services. Now, with content writing, like I said, you are just trying to inform, educate, and entertain. You're just trying to make people aware that this company, that I as a business or I as a brand, I exist, and this is what I'm offering. So sometimes you don't want to sound like you're just selling. But when it comes to copywriting, there's nothing else you're doing other than just selling. The goal is just one. You want this person to take an action, and that action is to buy. So with copywriting, you are allowed to use sales innuendo in a way that attracts readers without sounding sales-oriented. Copywriting is mainly done to persuade the reader to take an action. Example of content of copywriting is jingles. Jingles are the soundtracks that are used in adverts. There's web copies. Web copy is when you write, there's something we call a landing page. So for instance, you see an advert on Google or even on Facebook or Instagram. When you click on that link, it takes you to a web page that tells you more about what that advert was talking about. This is what we call a web copy. Then we have banners. Banners are the images that accompany an advert. And I'm sure you've seen when you're scrolling on our website, you will see an advert. That is what we call a banner. So creating that is part of copywriting. Product descriptions, slogans. Slogans are sentences or words that describe a company, what most people call them taglines. Then there are sales emails and scripts. And yeah, for videos. Then we have journalism, news writing. Now, you'll be surprised to know that even you could be a reporter, or maybe you even, like myself, you did communication in media as a background. Now, you do not necessarily have to be hired by our local newspapers. There are so many online publications that are looking for journalists. All you need to do is to just go on Google and search online publications and apply the skills that you've already learned to that. So journalism and news writing is purely for news. Then lastly, we have social media content creation. Yes, social media is part of online writing. Now, this is just creating content for social media pages or accounts. Most social media content creation is done for companies and businesses so that it can have a huge following and reach to the biggest audience possible. Types of writing on social media content includes writing captions, writing tweets, writing social media ad copy, writing YouTube video descriptions, writing video scripts, and writing bios for these companies that can be used for their pages and accounts. Now let's look at what are some of the skills that you need to become a successful online writer. Now, the first thing I always say, you cannot call yourself a writer if you don't know how to write, if you don't know basic writing rules. Now, luckily for us, for anyone who's been to school, we were taught how to write. So now when it comes to online writing, what you need to do is to first really ask yourself if you have the skill and if you have the interest and the passion. Because I will tell you this from experience, writing can be very easy, and it can also be very, very, very difficult. So on those difficult days, it is the passion that you have for writing that will take you through those hardships. So I often discourage people. Like I said, if you're just thinking about becoming an online writer because you had it a type of online gig, then that's not the best way to go about it. One, you have to ask yourself, do I really, 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 really want to be a writer? Do I have the patience? Do I have the skills? Do I know my grammar? All those things that we were taught in school. Were you really good at those? Can you confidently say, I can write? Well, it's true you can learn how to write, but there are basic things that you should already have by the time you are thinking about creating a profile on any freelance platform as an online writer. On top of those writing skills, then you need online writing skill. Now, notice I've added the word online in your writing skills. Now, you might have been very good in writing compositions, inshads, and the like, but that doesn't mean that you have online writing skills. Why? This is because writing for online audiences is very different than writing for traditional media. By traditional media, I mean books, physical books. I mean newspapers, magazines, the ones that we read physically. Why? This is because you're, as an online audience, your attention span is way less than when you're interacting with a book, a physical book. And then most online audiences they're specific about what they want. That is why you have to know how to write for online audiences. So now if you're a beginner, the first thing you need to do is to do research on how to write for online audiences. Then secondly, you need strong research skills. Now, there's always this assumption that a writer knows everything. That's not true. What we have is strong research skills. I always say there's no topic under the sun that I wouldn't be able to write about. That doesn't make me an expert in everything. What I brag about is my research skills. There's nothing online that I cannot be able to find via Google. But it also takes a skill to know what to look for. Yeah. So when you're given a topic, you need to be able to know what you're researching for. Yeah. And then you need a solid SEO important, even if you're not selling yourself as an SEO expert. This is why for most businesses that are looking to hire online writers, it means this work is going to be published online. And the reason why it's being published online is for that people can read and interact with this content. So it means these people who are going to find this information, they're going to find it through a search engine. You don't just magically come into interaction with our website. There's an action that you took online for you to be able to be shown that content. So maybe you interacted with a Facebook status, or you clicked on an ad on Facebook, and like we say, Google, it's like Google is spying on us. They are able to track our actions online. So the reason why businesses want every type of writing that is done to be SEO optimized is because they want the search engines to be able to recognize their work. So you're not going to get away with a lack of search engine expertise, because whether you're blogging, whether you're a technical writer, whether you're writing an email, all these things must be optimized for the search engines. So I highly, highly, highly recommend that you teach. It might sound very technical, but I will tell you this, it's not rocket science. There is a lot of information online about SEO. All you need to do is to learn the basics. Yeah. And then everything else you will learn as you go. And then it is very important that you're able to meet deadlines. This goes hand in hand with time management. So remember, when you're working online, you have no one who is inspecting you. You have no one telling you when to work or how to work. But again, businesses have timelines. They know when they need a certain type of content to go out. They know when they want their social media content to be published. They know they have a calendar for their blogs. So when a client gives you work and they tell you you need to deliver in 3 days, then you need to be able to plan your work well. You need to manage your time well and be able to meet deadlines. Remember, you're trying to come thinking about being successful. You're not going to be successful as an online writer if all the time you submit your work late. And this goes hand in hand with communication skills. You need to be able to communicate with your client. Now, we know life doesn't happen in a vacuum, and things happen in life. So you might have promised your client that you're going to deliver the work in 3 days, but then emergencies happen, you get sick, or you have things that you need, personal stuff that you need to deal with, and you're not able to meet the deadline. Now, one thing that I know most of us Kenyans do, which give us a very bad reputation, is that we're always complaining. We want to lie to clients that, oh, electricity, like it's almost time for you to submit your blog or your article, and then you quickly chat your client and tell them, I am having electricity issues. Yes, I know KPLC can be a pain, but that is not how you communicate. I mean, if you had 3 days to deliver your work, you cannot be telling a client an hour or two that you're unable to submit your work. You need to be a professional, and you need to respect the terms of the client. So learn how to communicate with your client. That's why I said communication skills are very, very important. You need to be able to express yourself. You need to be able to let the client know in good time what is happening. You need to be able to write well again. And when you talk about communication skills here, I'm talking about both written and spoken. So you need to brush up on your grammar and the like, because you can call yourself a professional and an expert writer when you're making horrible grammar mistakes. And there's so many other skills that you need, and I will urge you to do more research on it, but these are the must-have skills if you want to succeed as a writer. Now, let's look on how to thrive on Upwork. Like I mentioned, I've been on Upwork this is my 9th year now, and I am a perfect example of that Upwork works, because like I mentioned, 90% of my clients have been through Upwork, but then it doesn't come that easy. And most people give up in just the first couple of months. Now, when it comes to freelance platforms, you need consistency, you need tenacity, and you just need that zeal to keep trying. You will not get it right the first time or the second or even the third, and you might even have to try 100 times. But the goal here is to keep trying. Yeah, but there's some few basic things that you might find. Let's talk about when you're building a house. You cannot have a proper building if the foundation is weak. So now, no matter how skilled you are, or what kind of, or how experienced you are as a writer, there's some few basic things that you need to get right on Upwork if you're gonna succeed. Now, obviously the secret to thriving on Upwork lies in perfecting two things. Number one, you have to create an awesome, optimized, and attractive profile that will make potential clients want to say, yes, you are the one. Number two, you need to write a super engaging, succinct, and interesting proposal that make your clients hit that higher button. But first, before you even get to doing those two things, you must understand how the platform works. Now, here, no one is going to teach you how the platform works other than the only way to learn is for you to interact with the platform. You must go through all those menus that you see on Upwork. You must click on every one of them and find out how it works. Upwork has a lot of resources. You must read all those resources to understand what is the difference between an hourly job, what is the difference between an hourly job and a milestone, what are connects, what is job success rate, how do you become why are some people rated uprising talent, while others are rated, they have the badge of what is called talent up plus, and how do you get to do that? How do you even download the Upwork app? How do you use it? How do you communicate with clients? Those are things that you must first understand. So don't just go and create a profile and you don't even know how the system works. So the first thing you need to know is to clearly understand how the platform operates. Now let's get to the two things that I talked about. So number one, like you said, you have to create an attractive profile. How do you do this? First, create the right type of profile. Yeah. Like I said, if you have not taken the time to understand how the platform works, then you might actually find yourself creating the wrong profile. So there are two types of profiles on Upwork. There's the client profile and there's the freelancer profile. You are looking to be hired. That means you are the freelancer and not the client. So the first thing you need to do is to create a freelancer profile. Once your profile is approved, now you need to go build on that profile. So you need to link your accounts, link your profile, link your Upwork account to other online accounts that you have, such as Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, and the likes. This establishes your online presence and will make it easy for Upwork to match you to relevant jobs that match your skills and your experience. Again, doing that shows Upwork that you're real. You're a real person, and that the information that you put on your profile matches what you have on Facebook, what you have on Twitter, and what you have on LinkedIn. So it's very important to link your accounts. Number 3, add a profile photo. Now, I've seen people who, all right, I know right now that your profile might be suspended if you don't add a profile photo. Why do you need to add a profile photo? It's because it's, number one, for the platform, it is a way to verify that you are who you are saying you are. Now, Upwork thrives on, the reason that what makes Upwork the number 1 preferred platform is because of authenticity. So they claim that they offer authentic freelancers and authentic clients. For this to happen, the platform has to be very strict on who they approve on the platform. And one of the things that they ask for is for your credentials. So sometimes they ask you for your ID or any government issued identification. There are other times that will actually call you on video to see that you're actually who you say you are. And that's why they ask for a profile photo. So if you don't add a real photo and then they call you on video, they'll automatically know that that's not you. So you need to add a real photo, and not just any photo. It has to be a professional and friendly looking photo. And then number 4, you need to add your title. Now, when you open your profile, there is the headline, the title. This is the first real description of yourself that clients will see. So you want to catch their eye right away. So you've decided you want to be an online writer. You have already picked the type of online writing you want to do. Then that means, so for example, if you have chosen to be a copywriter and also a content writer and a social media manager, your title should reflect that. So you should have a title that clearly states you are a copywriter, and you could even go further to the specific kind of copywriting that you do. So you could say, I am a product description copywriter, if that's what you've picked. You could say, I am an ad copywriter, if you have decided that I am concentrating on writing ad copy. If you're a blogger, then you need to clearly state you're a blogger, and then be specific about the kind of industry you're targeting. Why is this important? This is because when a client is on Upwork, imagine this platform has millions and millions of other freelancers. It's not just you who's on this platform. There's so many other online writers, actually. Let's even just narrow down to the online writing. There's so many online writers. So how does the platform pick your profile and make it visible to the client who's looking for a writer? That will only happen if this client is looking for a food blogger, for example, and your title reads food blogger. So the search engine on Upwork will notice that you have the keyword food blogger, and this client is looking for a food blogger. So it's gonna narrow the results down to everyone who has the title food blogger. So this is why your title is very, very, very important, because it is what tells the client, oh, okay, yeah, this is the person I'm looking for. They have the skill that I'm looking for. Let's now go see if they have the experience and the expertise that I want. Now, after you've done your title, you need to add your overview. This is the area where you are able to tell a bit more about yourself. So you said on your title, you said I'm a food blogger. So what about you makes you a food blogger? Here, you need to start with the most important information, because only the first 2 or 3 sentences of your overview are visible in your search results and other Upwork pages. Now, this is always the advice that I give people when they're writing their overview. Think about yourself as the client. When you're writing, specifically when you're writing the overview, put yourself in the client's shoes. Don't write as the freelancer, write as a client. So if you have decided, again, using the example of the food blogger. So if you've decided I'm a food blogger, imagine you are a client who is running a blog on recipes. So the first thing you need to ask yourself, what is the problem that this client is facing that has made them come on Upwork and look for a writer? So probably they're struggling with finding time to do the writing themselves, or maybe they don't even have the expertise to write. So you need to put yourself in the shoes of the client. Ask yourself, if I were the client and I was looking to hire a food blogger, what kind of information would I want to see? Think of your overview as what we call the cover letter, or even the application itself. So if you are to hire a food blogger, what would make you pick cover letter A and not cover letter B? So again, I insist, write as a client, not as a freelancer. Address the issues that you feel the client would have. Give the answers that you think your prospective client is looking for. One thing that can help you write this part is to look at the type of jobs that you're interested in. You can do a quick search on Upwork for the jobs. Look at the descriptions that the clients are using to describe the kind of writer they are looking for. And then be able to summarize yourself with that bearing that kind of information in mind. After you're done with your overview, then you add an introduction video. Why is an introduction video? I know most people feel shy to express themselves on video, but it will make you stand out above the rest of the people if you have a video. A video it increases your chances of getting noticed, and it's a good chance to offer a compelling look at who you are, what you offer, and most importantly, showcase your language skills. Now, as a Kenyan, there is this notion that most international clients have about us. They tend to think that you're not very good in English, despite the fact that our language of instruction in school is English. And most of us have brilliant, brilliant language skills, better than even the international clients themselves. But again, remember, your profile is just text. There's no way for this client to actually know that you're able to write as well as you claim, or to even, and now when you talk on video, you're able to show them that, yes, I'm capable of expressing myself in that language that you're looking for. So that's why the introduction is very important. Now, when you're doing your introduction, you're just giving a brief summary about yourself, about your skills, about your expertise, and about your experience. Don't go talking about unrelated things. Remember, it's building up on what you've just written in your overview. Then after that, list your skills. Give a minimum of 5 and a maximum of 10 skills that enable you to do your job. This should be the most important and most relevant skills for your job. So I don't expect to see an online writer add a skill like software development. You know, you are not looking for a job as a software dev. You're looking for a job as a writer. So again, here, when you are looking at the jobs, when you're doing the research on the type of jobs that are online, check the job application the job ad will always list the kind of skills the client is looking for. Take a look at those skills the most clients are interested in, and pick 10 that are related to the kind of writing that you're interested in doing. The next, you need to select your experience level. Now, to have 100% complete profile on Upwork, you must reach your experience level. There are 3 levels. There is the entry level, there's the intermediate, and there's the expert. Now, I want you to understand here, when we talk about experience, we're not talking about your experience on Upwork, but rather your experience as a writer. What kind of experience do you have? Now, you might find that you have worked before as a writer, not necessarily on Upwork, but even in your day-to-day job. You might have handled social media accounts before, maybe you used to be the one writing your company magazine or anything related to writing. Now, you cannot say you're at entry level when you already have some bit of experience in that kind of writing. Again, would not, unless you really have the experience to back it up, I would not expect you to be an expert. So if you truly have experience, then I would advise you to pick intermediate. If you don't, you're just beginning as a writer, it is okay to pick the entry level. Here, what you need to do is to be very, very honest, because it would be so wrong of you to rate yourself as an expert, and then you're given work and then you don't deliver. Remember, on Upwork, there's something called a review. When you complete a job, the client will write a review and they will rate you between 1 and 5 stars. So if you had claimed to be an expert and then you under-deliver, the client will definitely give you a very low rating and they will give you a bad review. And this will greatly affect your job success rate on Upwork. And it will be seen in your profile. So future clients will be able to see the kind of reviews that you're getting. So again, be very honest. If you truly have no experience, you're just starting out, begin at the entry level. You are allowed to change this your experience level at any point. You just need to go back to your profile and edit it as you gain more experience. Next, you need to add your employment history. Employment history is not just what you've done online. This could be anything that you're currently doing and anything that you've done before. This is like what you add on your CV. So list your employment history as a way to showcase your experience, past projects, and qualifications. Now, if you have anything that is related to writing, begin with that. Or if you have a lot of stuff that you've done, pick what is related to writing. If you don't have anything that you've done as an online writer, you can always add whatever that you've done so far. Remember, you just need to show the client you have some bit of experience with work. Yeah, it doesn't have to be necessarily as a writer, but they need to know you've worked before, so you know what it means to be a worker. Next, you need to add your education. List the institution name and your degrees in chronological order with the most recent degree at the top. Again, this is just like when you are writing your CV. Similar rules apply. Next, you need to build your portfolio. Showcase your past work, examples, and projects so that people can see the quality of your work. If you've written a published article before, be sure to add it. If you've managed social media platforms, take a screenshot and add the image to your portfolio. If you have created a portfolio as a PDF, add it on your at the portfolio section of your profile. The next, set your hourly rate. Now here, most people get it so wrong, and this can make or break your application. Now, there's no right hourly rate to begin with. Your starting rate should match your experience and skills. Now, here again, you need to be very honest with yourself. Imagine you've just come out of college or uni and you're looking for a job. What would be your salary expectations? Now here, experience, you need to take into account your experience on Upwork. So if you have no experience on Upwork, it will be an injustice to your profile if you add a very high hourly rate, because you have nothing to back up your expectations, your salary expectations. So let's say you've put in $40 per hour. Would you justify why you need to be paid $40 per hour? And when you talk about an hour, remember, this is not saying you'll be paid $40 for an article, or you will be paid $40 for the social media posts you do. It'll probably take you about 10 hours to run a profile or so. So you're multiplying 10 by 40. So you need to ask yourself, so when I say I am worth $400, is that the case? Yeah. So one, do not underquote and do not overquote. The best way to know your hourly rate is to go through other profiles, look at other freelancers, especially those who are just starting out, people who have no clients already, people who have, or they have 1 to 5 clients. See what their rate is, and then try and pick an average. Look at the kind of, but when you are negotiating for a price with your client, remember, at this point, you already know how the workload is. You know whether it is a lot or it's not a lot. You know whether it requires a lot of research or not. You know whether it needs high expertise or not. And then you'll be able to negotiate a price rate. But when it comes to the hourly rate, you need to find the industry average and use that. Now, next, we will go to the second success factor that I mentioned, and this is writing a winning proposal. Now, you've completed your profile, you are ready to start bidding for jobs on Upwork. How do you do it? How do you write a proposal that makes the client want to click the hire button? Number one, you need to find the right job. Now, again, this is a very, very, very common mistake that most people do. Just because a job says writer does not mean you are qualified for it or that it's the best fit for you. Here, you need to remember you are new on Upwork. So you cannot be bidding for a job for a technical job, or rather a job where a client specifically says they're looking for a high-level expertise. You need to lower your standards a bit to be able to compete and build your profile. So I'm not saying don't aim for the sky, but again, remember you're building your foundation. So you need to start from somewhere. Look for the easiest jobs that you can find. Yeah. Again, when you're looking for a job, you also need to look at the kind of client that is offering the job. One, you need to look at something like, is this client verified? What is some of the type of feedback other freelancers have given this person? Because again, you don't want to work with a client that is going to be a pain. So look at reviews, look at whether they are verified. All that information is visible from the job advert. And then when you've found the right job, review the job requirements properly. Now, again, a mistake that most people do is to just read, they just brush off the requirements, quickly read and not understand what the client is really looking for. And let me assure you, most clients can tell from your proposal that you didn't read the requirements properly. Now, there's a trick that some clients will use to see whether you've read the entire job description. Someone will, for instance, tell you to write a word at the beginning of your proposal. So someone will say, mention flags in your proposal. Now, if you didn't read the whole description, you will not see that requirement. And so you will not write the word flag in your proposal, and the client will automatically know that you didn't read it. Again, how are you going? I mean, a client is not going to hire someone who's not thorough. Yeah, because if you cannot read my job description, then how are you going to read my instructions when I send you a job? Yeah, so you need to read it from the first word to the very last word, no matter how long it is. Read it to the end. Another reason why you need to description thoroughly, it's because you want to be able to mention some of the things that the client has talked about. Pick something from the profile, from their description, and mention it. This shows the client that you've read. So for instance, let's say a client is talking about they're looking for a writer for their pet business. Now imagine if you write an entire proposal and at no point do you make a mention of a pet. Yeah, one, it shows you have not understood this profile. Two, the description, and two, it shows the client that you're not thinking about them. You're just writing a proposal to bag a job, and that's it. You don't care about what their needs are, and so there is a chance that you won't be able to give them the solution that they're looking for. Number three, don't use a generic response in your proposal. Now, even as people are looking for jobs, there's this tendency where you just take your cover letter and then just change the name of the company and send it as it is. It's also something that most freelancers do when they're doing their job proposal. They do a template and then just change the job title. So maybe this client here is looking for a food blogger, so I just change because yesterday I had applied to a job to someone who was looking for a pet lover. So you change that and you just write food blogger, and then everything else remains the same. Again, this goes to show you are not thinking about this client, you are not internalizing their problems and what they're looking for. And that will show the client will actually pick this from your proposal. So while it's okay to have a template that outlines your basic skills and highlights why you're an awesome freelancer, it is not okay to just copy paste your template and send it to all potential clients without even addressing their specific job requests. So you have to tailor make every proposal to each client. So their needs have to be reflected in your proposal. Each client's need has to be reflected in each proposal that you send. So your main goal when writing a proposal is to show the client that you are the best fit for the job. So your proposal shouldn't just be a list of your skills and expertise. Again, you've already done a profile and the client will go look at your profile and they'll be able to see all that. Instead, explain why your skills and experience make you the ideal person for the job. Address how you plan to complete the job by sharing your unique approach to the project. If you have worked on a similar job or project, mention them and show how that experience will be relevant to the client's job. And finally, don't be afraid to ask clever questions. So here, you might not have understood something. Ask in your proposal. Maybe it could be how long, like for instance, if you are talking about social media management, you could ask how many posts are required for each platform, and what will be the how long will you be posting for? How often will you be doing this post? Is it a weekly job? Is it a daily job? etc. And then give them your interview availability. As you're finishing writing up your proposal, simply add a line that goes something like this. I am available for an interview Monday to Friday, 10 a.m. to 12 p.m. GMT +3 time zone. I look forward to having the opportunity to discuss the job further. Again, this goes to show you're a professional who is thinking about this client. You are letting them know that their time is precious, and you are offering them the choice of picking when they can contact you. Now here, notice there is a time zone. Why is this time zone important? You need to let your client know where you're based, because just simply saying Monday to Friday, 10 a.m. to 12 p.m. will the client will read it with their own time zone. So if a client is in Washington and they're supposed to be calling you who is in Nairobi, remember that there is a very huge time difference. So they're going to call you 10 a.m. Washington time, and maybe that is when you're sleeping. So then what does that show? It shows you are not you're not a professional, because you lied. Like you said, I'm available, and then they're trying to reach you and you're unavailable. So remember to make a mention of your time zone. The GMT time +3 is the Kenyan time zone. Be familiar with the different time zones. Be aware of your client's time zone as well, so that you can be able to synchronize your calendar. Number 5, be attentive to additional questions. Now, sometimes a client will ask you to answer one or more additional questions during the proposal stage. So when you're reviewing a job, you will be able to see the list of these additional questions at the bottom of the job description. Be sure to answer these questions. Don't leave that space blank, because the additional questions are the first thing the client will see when they receive your proposal, not your cover letter. So now imagine the client had asked 2 questions and you leave that space blank, so they're going to see a blank space. They will immediately ignore your application. They won't even go further to read your cover letter. So make sure you fill up the job description, your application completely. Number 6, send samples of your past work. There are clients who will ask for work samples, while others will not. So even if a client doesn't ask, always provide your work samples. There is no harm showing them how awesome you are. This is just to go to show that if you claim to be a very good writer, and you tell them, here are some of the type of writing that I've done, that will be able to show you my expertise and my level of understanding. Number 7, always be very professional and friendly. Keep your language professional to make a good impression. Again, like I mentioned, there are millions of freelancers on Upwork who are all looking for the same job that you're looking for. How do you stand out? You need to make a good impression, and the only way you can do that is through your proposal. But then again, you need to remember you're not in a stiff corporate setting. So relax a little bit and don't be afraid to be friendly. Here, you are absolutely not required to do the no dear sir, or even worse, no dear sir or madam, as we are used to when you're looking for offline jobs. Remember, you need to be friendly, because if someone needs to feel some sense of comfort, they need to know that no one wants to work with a stiff person. So let go of the dear sir and the like. Instead, again, a trick that I use when I'm doing my proposals is to address the client using their name. How do you do this? In the job application, if you scroll down to the end, you'll be able to see reviews left for the client. Now, sometimes the freelancers will refer to the client using their name. So someone will say, it was a pleasant experience working with John. I loved how John communicated. So even if the client has not mentioned their name or their job description, if you're able to find their name using that trick that I've just mentioned, use it, address them. Now, it makes them feel nice, because the first instinct is that, oh, wow, this person actually did some kind of research and they found my name, and that will make you stand out from someone else who just said hello. Yeah, or even worse, someone who just decided to be dear sir or madam, because they don't even know whether the client is male or female. So here's an example of how you can get creative with your application, with your proposal. Hello, John. I am an experienced fashion writer, and I think I'd make a great fit for your new brand. I'm good at blogging. I'll share my experience in a second. But what gets me really excited about this job is that you sell hats. I love hats. I have 57 different hats, and some may say I'm obsessed, but I like to look at the fashion forward. I think you'll agree. So anyway, here is my fashion blogging portfolio and my hat fashion field Instagram adventures. Now, when you just hear that, you can pick a few things from this text. One, this person did some research on the client, found their name. Number two, they have read the description and they know that the client is looking for a fashion writer. That's why they mentioned they're an experienced fashion writer. Number two, they know that this is a new brand. Now, most likely, the client had a job description that went something like, I am looking for a fashion writer who can help me with my new brand. You see? So immediately you use such words, the client is able to tell, oh, this person actually read my description, and they will be wowed. Number two, look at the way they're talking about their love for hats. When you say you're a fashion writer, then there must be something that makes you stand out as a fashion writer. Maybe it's your love for fashion. Yeah, and this, by mentioning the words, I have 57 different hats, this gets this client excited. They're like, oh wow, so yes, this person knows their fashion. I want to know more about this person. Again, they have added their portfolio. So it's going to be interesting for this client to click on their Instagram to see who is this person who has 57 different hats. Yeah? So you need to be very creative in the way you write. Again, like we said, forget the corporate type of writing, the way we were taught how to write cover letters in school. That doesn't apply to online audiences. Remember, like I said, the concentration span for an online writer is very, very, very fast. Some people say it's even less than 30 seconds. So you have only 30 seconds to wow the client with your proposal. So be interesting, stand out, let them take a pause and actually think about this person. So give them something to make them think more about you or get more interested in learning about you. Keep your profile short and succinct. Like I said, their attention span is very little. Remember, they've received 1,000 other applications that they need to read. Now, if you write 1,000 words, they will get bored and they will not be interested to keep reading. Yeah, a long proposal will not get you the job. It will be boring and will often go unread or simply ignored. So keep your proposal short and to the point. Now, lastly, I'm going to give you an example of a proposal. We're assuming this person is a new freelancer on the platform. They are just starting out on Upwork and they found a job that they love, that they think they're a good fit for, and now they're sending out a proposal. So let me read that out. Hello, Larry. I hope you're doing well. Hiring a newbie to handle this simple but important task for your business is the smartest move you'll make today. Now, you wonder why? I'll give you two reasons. First, as a newbie on Upwork, I know too well that I have to do an exemplary job to prove myself against the experienced freelancers. As a client who takes a chance on me, you can be sure that I will fulfill this task over and above your expectations. Second, right now, the most important reward for me is a good review, more than the money that I make. Therefore, I gladly accept your proposed rate, and I will not make it affect the quality of my work. Lastly, and probably the most importantly, I am only a newbie on Upwork, but not new to social media content creation, data entry, and task coordination. These are skills that I have managed to excel in over time throughout my time in school, internship, and day job as a statistical officer. I am diligent, time conscious, focused, and a hard worker. I truly believe that these qualities make me a perfect fit for the virtual assistant position you need to hire for. I am available for an interview Monday to Friday, 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. GMT plus 3 time zone. I look forward to having the opportunity to discuss this further. Now, this freelancer decided to take an approach of letting the client know while they are new on Upwork, they are not new to, that does not mean that they're not experienced. Yeah, this person does not have any virtual assistant experience yet, but they've done other things. Yeah, like you see, they've mentioned themselves as a statistical officer. Now, there are things that a statistical officer will experience that is related to virtual assistant. What are these things? Yeah, and then there are things we call soft skills. That is what they've mentioned here, like diligence, time consciousness. They are focused and they are hard work. So you might feel like you have no experience and you'll be wondering, so how do I show this client that I'm capable of doing what I claim, like I'm capable of being an online writer, that they just need to take a chance on me? You can highlight other things that you have, other strengths that you have. Now, for this freelancer, what they've done, they are leveraging the fact that most clients don't want to, especially new clients, they don't want to pay a lot of money. Yeah. So what do? They put a very low rate. Now, as a beginner, remember we said your hourly rate will be modest. So, but that doesn't mean just simply because you're taking a modest pay, you will deliver low quality. So what has this person done? They're telling this client, I really need a good review. So I am willing to do a great job to receive that review. Here, I'm not interested in the money. I am more interested in building my profile, and therefore I am out to outperform for that good review. So again, you need to get creative with your proposal. Don't just write a generic proposal. And with that said, I have come to the end of my presentation. Again, think diligently about the 2 success factors that I've mentioned. It is the foundation for how you're going to build your profile and how you're going to succeed in the online writing space. Now, I welcome any questions that you may have.
Thank you so much, Stella. That is a lot of incredible information. I will dive into the Q&A session because we are at the top of the hour. We actually passed our scheduled time and we have a lot of questions here. So please, let's just take them very briefly. I'm not sure we'll be able to answer all of them, but we'll answer what we can for now. And then maybe if your question is not going to be answered, we are very sorry because we are running short of time. Please, you may connect with Stella Mwangi. She will give us directions on how to do that. The first question, what does a proposal look like? Is it like a cover letter or a graphical presentation?
It is like a cover letter. When you're Upwork, it's a very systematic way of doing it. You will follow the platforms. It has a format. So Upwork already has a format put in place. You just need to fill out the spaces on the platform.
Irene says, I have currently created an Upwork account, which was successful. I have been going through the jobs available and I'm stuck. I don't know what to choose. How do I go about it? Another question is, is it possible to do this job from my phone because I don't own a laptop?
Could you repeat the first question? I didn't hear the first one clearly.
I have currently created an Upwork account, which was successful. I have been going through the jobs available and I'm stuck. I do not know how. I do not know what to choose. How do I go about it?
I think for that question, I think my entire presentation answered that question. Because that whatever I have said is exactly what you need to do to start finding clients on Upwork. Now, number two, about using your phone. It's a very difficult, like I said, writing is very engaging. There's a lot of research that is involved. And when you use a phone, you're most likely to make a lot of grammatical errors. And then they're just things, writing is not just writing text and presenting it on a document. There is formatting that is also involved, like when you do your research on SEO best practices, there's something you will learn about dividing your content formatting your content in main points and sub points, so that kind of formatting is very difficult on a phone. So I will urge you to really work on getting a laptop. There's higher chance of you succeeding if you have a laptop. But again, don't be shy to start. Just start with what you have and where you are at.
Samuel is asking the thing you talked about ghostwriting and how this is hard for you to present to your client or take credit. So what happens in such a case where you're a ghostwriter and you are expected to present samples? So
you're expected to
present samples, share samples.
This is for what I normally do is I have a discussion with my client and ask them if I'm allowed to share their work as my sample, to quote my work as a sample. And most clients will gladly allow you to do it. The only difference is that when the client clicks on that link and it goes to a blog post, it just doesn't come up with your name. But most clients will allow you. What they just don't do is that when you're creating like now, if you're gonna prepare a PDF portfolio, they will not allow you to take credit of that work.
Daisy says, sometimes there are several names in the client's review section. How do you make a choice on who to address at this point?
In such a case, I just go without mentioning the name because you do not want to call John Steven and call Steven John. So play it safe and just simply say hello without mentioning the name.
I see she's given a thumbs up. I guess it answered that. Jess says, thanks for the talk. Pitching part sounds like one needs to be in the sector. What if I don't own a single hat or care for them? How do I pitch? I can research anyway on any topic and write.
Again, it's your creativity that you're going to use. You don't need to mention hats if you don't have hats. Just pick something from, like here, the goal here is for you to show the client that you've actually read the job description. Again, like the last example that I've given you, it has nothing personal. Yeah, like it didn't make any personal mention, but remember, picking keywords from that job description, using words that a client has used is a way of you being creative. Like you're just trying to stand out, to show that your profile is not just generic. It's not like every other proposal that they receive.
Guys, I see we are running very out of time. So I'll take 2 more questions and then you can give us your parting shot and how we can reach out to you so that in case someone feels like they still need to get more information or learn more, they can connect with you. Moline says, I've been on Upwork for the last 2 years. However, I've not been able to get a job. I've learned a lot of areas where I need to kindly share the slides. Of course, we'll share the slides because the session has been recorded. Oh, yeah, you share the slides and then we'll share them together with the recording. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I don't know if the first part was a question. They've not been able to get at all.
The whole presentation was an answer to that question.
Okay. Someone says, could you please go through the types of writing? Nope, that one we'll share the slide, then they can
Slides, yeah.
go through that themselves.
Yes.
Yes. Yeah, I think that is pretty much it. Yeah, that is pretty much it. So thank you so much, Stella, for such a great presentation. You can go ahead and give us a parting shot and how we can reach you.
Okay, so again, I will insist, don't give up. It is not an easy, you are not gonna see success overnight, yeah? Like I've mentioned, I have 12 years of experience as a writer, 8 years working on Upwork, and I still can't say that I have reached my success point, yeah? It is an everyday, you build up on it every day. You have to do a lot of self-learning. There's so many resources that are available to you. Take advantage of them. Become a student, yeah? Because the only way for you to succeed is to keep learning what you don't know. For instance, you've started by just attending this training. That is a step. Keep doing it. Upwork has a lot of resources, many articles that you can read. Take the time. Don't be lazy. You will not succeed if you are choosing the lazy way about it. You need to teach yourself. I've heard so many people say, but I had no one to hold my hand. There will be no one to hold your hand. You will have to hold your own hand. Use Google, make Google your friend. There is everything that you need to learn. And then take classes, improve your writing skills. And the more you write, the more you learn. You can even just start a free website. WordPress has free, you can start a free WordPress site, there's Blogger, and just write, yeah? Because writing, they say if you can only call yourself an expert if you've worked on something for 10,000 hours. Now imagine gaining 10,000 hours of writing, yeah? That will make you an expert. As Doreen has said, please feel free to reach out to me. I think Eric or Doreen will share my number with anyone who is interested, and you can WhatsApp me. And please don't call before you introduce yourself. My WhatsApp is open. Just send me a message, tell me what you need, and I will be able to advise you accordingly. Thank you for listening and for joining in.
Yeah, thank you so much, Stella. I think I will do that. I was going to say you actually read it loud, but then I realized we're going to share this publicly on YouTube, which might not be appropriate. So in that case, we'll reach out, we'll share your email and your contact, or you can type it in the chat. I don't think that will reflect on YouTube. Either way, we'll share. So thank you so much, Stella. Thank you so much, everyone, for coming. This has been great. Please let us give Stella a clap. There's an emoji section at the bottom of your screen. Click on that and give her a clap. She's done an incredibly amazing job. Yes, thank you so much. This is the end of today's session. Keep an eye on our socials. That is at .Kenya on IG, Instagram, Twitter. On Facebook and LinkedIn. We'll be sharing this there, so you don't want to miss it. Thank you so much. This is the end of our session. You are free.
Thank you so much. God bless.